big corporations, that's got to be where the money comes from. How realistic do you think that can be, or what's the process going to be like for him to be able to get in those conversations? Because it is difficult. That's clearly been the biggest problem the U of H has had when it comes to the athletic program by itself, being able to fundraise and kind of stand on its own when it comes to the financial side.
So there's a group of companies in this city that are laser focused with the Rockets, the Astros, and the Texans, right? You're probably not going to permeate that. You're probably not going to get them to pull money from those relationships and put in here. But there's another group that's just below them that can't get in. It's okay. They have a car dealer, or a car brand. So my brand can't be there. Or there's an oil company that just isn't involved with any of them. There's that next level, and that's a level you have to attack. You don't have to go right up against the Rockets or the Texans or the Astros. You can say, look, okay, we'll go to that next level. And, the marketing dollar, or the dollars you're going to ask for in sponsorships are less than the Texans and the Astros and the Rockets. And so you can find that. It's just getting a plan and putting people in place who you trust and who can get it done.
Ryan, what's your let's right now, Ryan Monso, you are now Eddie Nunez. What is your pitch to the corporate folks in Houston, in and around Houston, to come invest in Houston athletics?
Please help.
Okay, yes. How can we help you, Eddie? How can we help you? What do you need from us?
You pitch it as, we are on the cutting edge. We are in living rooms all across this region every week in basketball and football. You're playing local schools. You're playing, the fans and the parents of these kids come from Louisiana. They come from Texas. We can get you in those doors. You have to be creative in how you do these things. It's not just how it's always been done with everybody else. If you go to UT and look how they're doing it and then say, oh, we're going to do it that way, well, then you're lost. You've lost. If you go to the Rockets or the Texans to look at how they did it, you're lost. And that's why I was kind of glad the LSSE guy did not make it. I just don't understand the thinking of, hey, that guy really marketed Taylor Swift well, or he really marketed the Copa Americas really well, so we should bring him in. I mean, everything he gets to market over there markets itself.
Yeah.
This does not. And you have to, it's weird to say, but you have to find companies that have chips on their shoulder too. You've got to have companies that have a similarity to your situation and embrace that and figure out creative ways to get them involved.
What about in reference of marketing and branding? What would be your approach, or what do you guys view that should be his approach, Mr.
Well, the last 6 ADs have all changed the U of H logo when they got here. So if he's going to do that, he needs to go back to a skinny logo and say, we're just using this. I don't care. We're going to this. I think the skinny logo today in this market would sell 3 times what all the others have sold. I think that is iconic. It is exactly who you are. And they've ran from it for 26 years. Go back to it. Go back to the stripes on the helmet with the skinny logo, red and some white helmets. I guess you're going to do a black game. I guess you're going to do an Oilers blue game. Fine. But that skinny logo, I think that's just where you have to go from a branding perspective. That said, everybody wants to create their own version, and I don't think that's the best way to go. I think vintage classic is the best situation possible.
It's worked for other teams. Just look at the Astros. They went back to a little bit of a throwback, and they've had success. Chris, to kind of I'm gonna take Eddie Nunez's hat from Ryan and put it on for a second. The way that I would go about trying to sell it, especially when it comes to men's basketball and football. I mean, you gotta focus on men's basketball and the national relevance that Kelvin Sampson has established in the program. Because out of the 30 plus regular season games that they play, what we would say that about at least 24 of those around there are national media games. They're going to have some type of ESPN connection
Uh,
around that
ESPN,
mark.
well, I mean, hell, almost all of them
Not
will be on
counting
TV.
ESPN Plus.
Every
Yeah,
game
right.
is going to be on there. Yeah.
Yeah, almost every game
So
is televised. Yeah.
that's a national audience. You're going to get your brand there. Brian, you made a great point when it comes to they have to find companies that share that identity. That, not to sound cliche and steal this term, but honestly, it's a blue collar identity that the University of Houston in general has always had. And by reaching out to them, kind of pitching it, you're going to have an opportunity to be exposed to a national market and really sell on Willie Fritz, what he was able to do at Tulane. That's the reason you hired him. He has the proven track record that he was able to do it. One, at a private school with what's really we've touched on limited resources. So now imagine if he's able to get more resources here at U of H. He already has better resources than he had at Tulane. If you continue to invest in it, it's only going to continue to grow, and then U of H football will be hopefully in that same atmosphere that the U of H men's basketball team has been able to do. And that's what you sell, that vision. That's how it's going to help your company reach a national audience. And most definitely it will reach a local audience. And for lack of a better comparison, it's kind of like recruiting. And at this point, you're selling a vision. You're kind of like when Kelvin Sampson first took over, you're selling him the Guy V. Lewis that they're expecting to construct, and the Fertitta Center that they're gonna expecting to construct. Because I mean, that's really the only thing you can sell at this point outside of men's basketball. There's not a huge track record you can do, and hopefully you get those companies that, like Ryan said, have been on the outside looking in when it comes to the Rockets, Astros, and Texans, and go from there. That's got to be your pitch, in my opinion.
I agree with part of EI Crabtree here. Part of it, and part I don't. The first part I do. I hope he is aggressive like Chris DeConte at Texas, but I mean, that is Texas, but still be aggressive. But in college athletics, you have to be excellent in every sport. Not necessarily true. You need to be excellent in football and men's basketball. Okay, those are the two. And then you would like your other sports to be excellent within their own sport. I mean, it'd be great if women's basketball had the next Caitlin Clark. But the money generated from that would not come close to Willie Fritz and a national championship in football. Okay, or a big bowl win or a CFP or anything like that. But yeah, football and men's basketball, those become excellent. Men's hoops already is, but get football up to that national relevant. That will go a long way in really boosting the overall thought process and fundraising for UH athletics. No comment, y'all?
No, you're right. What I was gonna do the point another when it comes to merchandising and marketing, whatever they come up, say they Eddie Nunez takes Ryan's idea and goes with a change of logo, goes back to a throwback with the skinny U of H logo. They have to, man, just capitalize it. Don't be like what they did with the Love You Houston merchandise, and don't give fans the opportunity to engage with it. One, make sure that you won't sued if you get sell it, but they just got to do things better than they have over the course of the last few years, and stuff like that. It all factors in, because they would have made a ton of money had they been able to capitalize all that Love You Houston merchandise. And they just weren't able to do it. And even Rice, when they had unveiled their version, obviously it was very different from what U of H did, but they were able to sell merchandise. They capitalized on it. So if Rice could do it, there's no reason why you yourself as the University of Houston could not do it.